Hey guys, it's been a while. It's been quite some time. In fact, the last time we had a podcast from my side was maybe last year, June or July. God, it's been some time. All right, so season three is up. We're doing something maybe slightly different in that we are trying to maybe touch on a lot of light-hearted topics, but I also think we're going to be quite more regular than we were before. That seems to be the plan as of right now, but where the country goes, the way the world goes, you never know. Uh, but our first guest is Ranusha Mutucumarana. I hope I didn't butcher your name. I think I didn't, because if I did, your cousin is going to kill me. Uh, so, yeah, okay. Let's welcome Ranusha. Hi, Ranusha.
Hi guys, hi everyone. Going to introduce
So
myself now.
nice to have you. Yeah. Yes, I was about to ask you to do that. Go ahead.
Shit. Okay. Hi guys. My name is Ranusha Mutucumarana and I'm 24 years old. I'm an LLB graduate from University of London and currently studying for my final year at Law College.
Perfect.
That's me in a
That seems to be
nutshell.
the case of many of my friends. Yeah, that seems to be the case for many of my friends somehow. Right.
Yeah.
So thank you for introducing of like very briefly who you are. But I know for a fact there's a little bit more to you than that.
Maybe,
As in, I know
maybe.
what you maybe yeah. There's a bit more on the internet at least, as far as I know. Why don't you tell us about that at least?
Are you talking about my
Maybe start
TikToks?
off that your additional Instagram page and maybe the poster. I love the post. I absolutely love it.
Thank you. Yeah, so starting off with the poster, that was obviously inspired by, what's happening right now in the country. And I don't have to explain what the poster actually meant. I mean, it's pretty obvious, even though I didn't mention the person's name. Um, but I honestly didn't expect to get a lot of feedback, but it did. It went viral, and I had friends send me screenshots of their friends sharing it and things like that. So it was great. Like it was such a great feeling because I knew for a fact that a lot of law students and lawyers could relate to the poster. So yeah, I'm really glad it went viral, and I'm really glad people could relate to it. Apart from that, I do own a writing page. So it's called The Great Story. It's basically where people send in their write-ups, and I basically post them in a nutshell. And I started this about 2 years ago. Again, did not expect it to reach so many people, but apparently it did. And apart from, of course, posting my own write-ups, I post other people's write-ups. Yeah, that's basically the great story. Is there anything else you want to know?
And TikTok, the 2022
Right.
sensation.
So TikTok, right? Funny thing is though, like I'm not famous on TikTok. It just so happens that whenever I do make a TikTok, I share it on my Instagram, and like my TikTok reaches more people on Instagram rather than TikTok itself. So fun fact. But yeah, I've been making a lot of
I have a
TikToks.
speculation
Yeah.
for why that might be the case.
Okay.
Okay,
Tell me.
so I know that you're a Bishopian, right? And I know this thing with
Yeah.
Bishopians where they're like a very tight knit committee and like everyone knows everyone. Like
Okay.
at least from what I know, and from my friend set, and I think that might be a part. Like if the second one person sees it, okay, share. I think it's a very Bishopian thing. I've seen people from LC also have very similar traits. I think that's probably why you get so famous with your things on Instagram.
But why not TikTok? Like a lot of people are on TikTok as well. Like it does not reach people on TikTok. I do not know why. I have no idea why.
And that's so because I think Sri Lankan TikTok is filled with a bunch of really weird videos. I opened TikTok once in my life, and went to like a Sri Lankan page. I regretted that so much. I yeah yeah I opened to show support to one of my friends who was also doing crazy
Okay.
things on TikToks, and yeah, I
Yeah.
see why
I mean, we
I see
do
why
have a
you
lot of
weren't
Sri
restricted.
Lankan TikTokers. I mean, a lot
Yeah,
of
but here's the thing, right?
influencers on TikTok.
It's a lot
Yeah,
of TikToks that go with like those popular trend songs. And there was like one
that's true.
like I've seen those.
Yes,
I've seen those.
yes. Yeah,
Okay,
you're right, you're right.
cool. So thank you for
Okay.
introducing your served to us, I will get on with the questions in that case. Yes, if you
Yeah.
see me like looking down, I'm reading from a screen, guys. So not being a weirdo, I'm reading from a screen just to let you guys know. Uh, so my first question to you were, what were your motives when you were choosing law? I know it's a subject that many people choose either A because they're so passionate about the subject, or B because they're just like, okay, I try something else, but like law is like an all-rounder kind of subject. So what were your
Yeah.
motives for choosing law?
I know everyone like expects a amazing background story. To be honest, I don't. So where for my I did London A levels, and my subjects were economics, psychology, and law. It was pretty evident that I sucked at econ. So it was either psychology or law that I was going to pursue, and I decided that whatever subject that I get the highest for, I'll do that. So it ended up being law. I got an A star. I don't know how, but I did. So I decided I'll pursue law, and obviously, so I started law during A levels, right? So that's 2014, and I'm still doing law. So it's like almost 9 years now, and during that
Been a
time, I've
drag.
obviously like grown to love, yeah, grown to love the subject, and I'm definitely passionate about it now. So yeah, I'm sorry I don't have like
Right.
an amazing background story.
That's totally all right. I think a lot of people with law, they start off with humble backgrounds, or they're the
Yeah,
type of people who want to change the world, and they're like, I'm gonna
yeah,
take
yeah,
law and
yeah.
take that path.
Or their
Yeah.
parents were
So it's
lawyers,
it's, it's
lawyers rather, or their
ah
aunts are
yeah,
lawyers.
that's like a
Yeah,
very story bunch. But I know a lot of people,
yeah,
those who want to become engineers or doctors, but they miss out by a bit, and they're like, what, the law is like the next best option.
yeah.
That's the other set of people.
Yes, true.
So yeah. Okay, cool. Nice. Economics. I think, to be honest, econ's a nice subject. I wish I took that for
It
law,
is.
for
I
A
was just
levels.
terrible at it.
I don't know. I don't know. I have never done it. Like it intimidates me because like I took a friend's book once and there were like 15 types of
Okay,
graphs, right? And I did physics for A levels, and like
okay,
this intimidated me a lot more than physics ever did.
okay. But I'm
So
pretty sure
yeah, I think it's
physics is
pretty hard.
tougher than econ. I don't. I'm
Let's
pretty
leave the
sure it's
debate for
tougher.
another day, I suppose.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. So next question for you is so obviously lately, let's say maybe not even 2022, but the last 3 years we've seen the law being a pivotal question, and practitioners of the law being questioned and later being praised for their performance. Like for instance, 2019 we questioned compliance with international humanitarian law. We questioned compliance with political rights and how that would act in 2019. Again, 2020, with the
Right.
start of COVID, we again went into question the motives and ethics of law, and we saw a change in political regime as well. And but throughout the years, even after the parliament elections and to date, we've questioned why we have law and whether the legal system of Sri Lanka has been effective. Right, that's certainly been a
Yes.
question. How have the recent events in Sri Lanka, or if you want, across the world, changed your onset on what the law has been since 2014, since you started studying law since then?
So basically, when I started doing law and the past few years, I've been very skeptical about this field for obvious reasons. Because when you do tell someone that you're starting to be a lawyer, they come up with assumptions like, "Oh, lawyers lie, lawyers are like this and that." And like I said, there are so many laws in Sri Lanka that still needs to be amended and things like that. But after this current situation, how the bar association rose to the occasion and how all the lawyers started helping all these people, it definitely gave me hope. And I was really proud of the profession, and I was really glad that I selected this profession. Um, so I think there is hope for this profession, and I hope it will continue. So yeah.
No, yeah, I hope so too. I really want
Yeah.
to be a lawyer myself.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll be starting my degree this year soon, and I would much prefer to practice in my home country than somewhere else, obviously for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. And
Yeah.
yeah, I hope it gets a lot better, when I'm practicing by
Yeah.
that
Me
time.
too.
All right, cool. So let's just get into like the crust for like the whole reason we came into today's podcast, and just to understand the reason, or rather the dilemma that has been set off over the last year in the
Yep.
examination, or rather the conducting of the
Yes.
examination. So you could like take your time and just get into it. Just like
Okay.
perhaps how how long it's been delayed, and why it's been
Okay.
delayed. Give us a timeline about it. That
Um,
would be good.
are you saying why it got delayed because of the current situation, or are we like, do you want me to go way back speaking about COVID as well and how that affected our exams as well?
If you want, if you think that's relevant, you can go ahead with it.
Right.
Like because
Yeah.
we haven't had a proper exam system in 3-4 years at least for all students. And so if
Yeah.
you want to touch on it, that's totally cool.
Okay. Um, so clearly, our law college exams have been getting postponed forever. Starting with COVID in 2020, it got postponed. Um, and last year we had exams almost like we basically the entire exam was such a drag. It dragged the entire year last year. Like I had my second year at law college. Like I had some papers in March, April, and my other papers in August, right? So it was such a drag because of COVID. And then things settled down, and then this happened. So we were initially supposed to start exams on the 25th of April, but since things started getting bad here and all of that, they decided to give us 2 more weeks. So then after 26th of April, sorry, 25th of April, we were supposed to start on the 11th of May. That's me rather. Like final year students were supposed to start on the 11th of May, and first year and intermediate level students were supposed to start on the 9th. And they did. They did start, but sadly, some of my friends who sat for second year had to leave their paper in the middle and just walk off, which is insane when I think about it. I can't even believe that they went through that. Like if it was me, I would have been so angry. Like imagine you're writing your paper and you're like in the middle of it and they just tell you to give the paper and just leave. I can't imagine the mental state of those kids. And it's actually really bad because the student union tried to get our exams postponed so many times. Like they just didn't give up at all. They had like meetings with the principal, and the principal said no, and they still went ahead. Like after the majority of the students said, "Look, we don't want to sit for exams. We can't. We have transportation issues, accommodation, and things like that." Because sadly, all the law college centers, as in exam centers, are in Colombo, right? So we don't have centers in every district. So kids were finding it difficult to find transportation because there were like basically buses were on strike, trains were on strike. So yeah, the student union really tried to get our exams postponed, but they just didn't. And like on the start of the exam, on the day they started exams, they had to leave the exam in the middle, and I that was just that was terrible. So yeah, and then ended up postponing exams, and now we don't know when it's going to be because it got postponed indefinitely. So now we're waiting for our new timetable, and we genuinely have no idea when it's going to be. So yeah, it got postponed
From what
twice.
I've yeah, from what I've heard, like from my colleagues who I
Yeah,
worked with, they told me that the current law college principal is really good, as far as I know.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm really hoping that situation gets in hand, and him being as good as they say, I hope things get really well, and it settles much
Yeah.
better than it normally would have. Yes, I really hope that's the case.
I mean, I
Um,
not that I've met the principal myself, but I've heard so many good things about our current principal as well. It's just that, he didn't listen to the student union when they wanted to get exams postponed, and I felt like maybe he should have, because ultimately he had to postpone exams on the day we started exams, right? So, um, that was the because 80% of students wanted exams to get postponed, right? And I didn't, if I'm being really honest, I didn't want exams to get postponed at the beginning, but then later on I realized it has to get postponed because these kids are suffering and they were finding it so difficult, and I felt so bad, and I felt like I was coming from a very privileged place, and I thought it was my duty to support them as well. So I wanted exams to get postponed as well. Um, but the principal just didn't allow it. Um, but ended up postponing exams anyway. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely not somewhere you would like to be, right?
Yes.
Uh, yeah, I had very similar thing with my my law exam. So my
Okay.
uh what's it called, my A levels. So I was doing in like my fifth A level subject after uni, after I was done with school,
Okay.
like when I was applying for uni.
Right.
And 3 days before my exams, right, I'm all getting ready, like self studying and things. Boom, the exam gets cancelled. And it's the most heartbreaking thing there is, because I knew I had to write my exams in that period, or
Yeah.
else I wouldn't be able to use my results for uni application. So totally understand what you have to
Yeah.
say, and
It is
it's
frustrating.
sad,
It
it's
is
quite sad.
frustrating. Um, one of the
Really
reasons I
frustrating.
wanted to, finish exams is, it's my final year. I really want to be done. It did not in any way mean that I was ready for it, given the current situation of the power cuts, and it's like it's almost impossible to study. Like it's impossible to concentrate. But I still want to get it over with. But not really. I mean, the last few days, like before we were supposed to start exams, I was a miss as well. Like I was thinking, oh no, like how am I going to sit for this? So I also really wanted exams to get postponed, but it just so happened that the timing was really bad. Like they postponed on the wrong day. Like you don't postpone exams while you're writing a paper like that. That's insane. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
and especially in a subject like law, where memory retention is key, and the
yes,
way we do things in our syllabus also, where it's very important. I think, like a lot of students, I think the best way that from what I've spoken, is the best way to study and remember stuff is like to study like 10 minutes before the exam. Then you have everything in your mind. And
yeah,
when that rhythm gets messed up, I think it sets on so many problems. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. Um, but yeah, here we are now.
Here we are.
Yeah,
I actually was going to ask you like a few things about the power cuts, and
yeah,
rather the role of the student union. But I think you addressed the role of the student union pretty
yes,
well.
yeah.
If you could, maybe if you have anything else to add, do so. But I really want to
Um,
ask you about
yeah.
how the effect of the power cut,
Okay.
how
Um,
that's been, and how you've been able to cope up with those timings and stuff like that.
right. So in relation to power cuts, oh my God, like where do I start? So law college has lectures in the morning. Um, if I'm being honest, I never like been to the law college lectures, but I did go for tuition. I still do. And like so, it was it was really bad because sometimes so we had classes in the evening, right? And we're like in the middle of class, and then the power goes off. So you're just like, oh my gosh. And like I said, my data does not work with like my phone hotspot does not work with my laptop. I don't know why. So I used to get really annoyed. And our teacher can't really postpone classes also because she has a schedule and whatnot. So there were so many kids who missed lectures and things like that. So it was really really frustrating, like super frustrating. And also like it was really warm during April and March, and um, I don't know how I did it also to like studying during this weather and power cuts. Like I don't know. Like I have no words. I know that it was really tough for most kids. Um,
I think we did
yeah.
have like a sort of experience with this. I think maybe it was 2019 or 2020, also during April's, where there were like
Yes. Yeah.
constant power cuts. Remember?
I remember 2019. It was when I was studying for my final year at CFPS. My final year in
Mm.
degree. I
Mm,
remember.
yeah, for
But
me it
I
was
don't think it was
my
as
yeah.
bad as this.
Oh no, certainly not. Because
Yeah.
that was, I think, like 2 hours, and that too was like
Yes.
between seven and, yeah, it was a
Mm.
short while.
Very, very short. But it was terrible. This
Right.
year, power cuts were like insane. It was really bad. It was super bad. Um,
Yeah, the
yeah.
funny thing is the fact that when we say as if it was a periodic thing, like, oh, this year was bad. I think next
Yeah.
year will be somewhat better. That's hilarious.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
can't catch a break, no? Like, first Easter Sunday and then COVID and now this. Wow. Like, honestly, it's sad. But
I,
yeah.
I'm gonna reflect on a quote that I heard. I don't know if it was my former employer or my dad or someone,
Okay.
but someone told me the best of swordsmiths. They would say that the best of blades are forged in the hottest of fires. So I think that technically we're really good swordsmen. I mean, we would create really good swords. That's one way of saying things.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, take the positive one. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, like when you have situations that are just, like, so for me, every exam that I've done has been
Yeah.
under some weird situation. My
Same.
ICT exams, my ICT exams, I was moving from one country to another. My
Oh
next
my
set of
god.
O-levels were during the bombings. My second and third were during COVID. So,
Yeah.
my entire schooling year was spent during some sort of crisis.
Yeah. That sucks. Yeah.
I really hope that isn't a trend that's setting in
I
and it
hope
was
not,
just
because I think
circumstances.
since this has been happening since like 2019, like I just hope we don't have to go through this again next year. And I hope my exams don't get postponed again. Like I don't even know when it's gonna be, but man, I'm dreading it. Uh, but yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask you another thing. It's about
Yeah.
time, right? So you told me you were 24, am I correct?
Yes.
And as far as I know, a lot of kids who are outside Sri Lanka, maybe those who live in first world countries, by 24, 25, they're able to have been done with their masters along with their degree, right?
Yeah.
Right? Because like I did my calculation and I'm just like, oh, okay, Atif, if you do everything, if your cards play right at 24, you'll have your masters.
Yeah.
And I know there are so many people in your boat who are maybe your age and because you did the London
Yeah.
A levels, you're
Yes.
younger as well,
Yeah.
who have whose times have been wasted. How do you think it would affect them in their career going forward?
It's like this, right? So I could have done my masters a long time ago as well, because I finished my degree in 2019, and I could have done my masters, I don't know, maybe last year, year before, but I decided not to because I wanted to focus on law college. But I know kids who are balancing law college and their masters. So I think this whole age thing, it depends. Because like my cousin, I think she has like so many qualifications. Like she has achieved everything, and she's like 29. That's because she didn't take a break. Like she finished her degree and then her barristers and her masters in law college, and like she did everything really fast. But some kids they take like breaks, like I did. Like when I finished my degree in 2019, I didn't do exams at all in 2020. And then I did my I 2019 October I did my first year at law college and I finished that off. And then whole of 2020 I didn't like sit for any exam. 2021 I sat for my second year and now I'm sitting for my finals. So I think in terms of time it depends. But then again, I have friends who want to migrate soon after they take oaths, right? And then they've decided, they have planned and everything. So now the fact that exams got postponed means we'll be taking oaths also. That oath ceremony also will be delayed. So which means their plan will also be delayed. So that situation is there because I know a lot of friends who want to migrate and stuff. So I think that will be affected. Um, but other than that, I think most kids just take breaks. Um, but yeah, like specifically me, like I think like I won't be doing my masters anytime soon after I'm done with law college. Like I just want to be done studying for a while. I've been studying forever. So I think
Forever, yeah.
yeah, I don't think I'll be doing my masters anytime soon. But I know a lot of kids who want to do their masters, who are still doing their masters while studying at law college. So it's like I think it's um, but I don't know. It depends, from person to person. So yeah,
But don't you think it's an advantage? Like, so for instance, let's say you don't want to do your master's immediately because of how long it's been. The education system inherently in the way it's built is
yeah,
it takes a lot of time.
yeah.
So don't you think, for instance, if it was a lot simplified, you would be more inclined to doing your masters, and there would be, so much more kids looking for postgraduate qualifications? Wouldn't you think that
Uh,
would be the case? Because I know for a fact a lot of people like who I have this friend. I think she's 28 or 29, and
okay,
she's amazing. She's really smart and everything, but she's
yeah.
not inclined to do her masters because the education system has just been delaying things so much and so much for her, right? And now
What's
she's
her
like, I'm
field?
29. I mean, law. She's also a lawyer. She's also
Right.
this law.
Is she
And
talking
she's like,
about law? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Is she talking about law college and how slow it is, or law in general?
yeah, in law college and how slow it is, and
Right.
in general, like some just schooling systems also. The
Schooling.
how
Yeah.
you gotta wait for an additional years and the way tests are set and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I have this friend. Uh, so this person believes that I'm like what, I'm turning 30, 31 soon, and I don't want to be doing exams and stuff, so I want to start working. So like I
Okay.
know a good number of people who maybe not in the law college field alone, but in multiple fields, like let's say doctors in Sri Lanka, they
Yeah.
themselves, their timings are so delayed. And they're
Yeah.
just like, okay, I want to be done with my degree and move ahead. There is just no as much aspirations for higher education. Do you think that's a
Okay.
problem that is brought on because of how slow our education systems are?
Um, I'll just speak about my field because I feel like I can afford to. So the thing with law college is that I don't think law college is necessarily slow, because it's just 3 years, right? I mean, you can do it in 1.5 years only if you're an external student like myself. Um, but if you're an internal student, then it's 3 years. And I think about, I don't think it affects my career per
Is it
se,
3 or
but
4?
it's three. It's 3 years at law college.
Okay.
It's not 4. It's just that before you actually get into law college as an internal student, you have to sit for an exam. It's called an entrance exam. And I think you study for that for like 6 months and then you sit for it. But I didn't have to because I had my degree. But I think that also, I don't think that will work out in the future. I feel like even external students will have to sit for the entrance exam in the future. But that rule has not been put forward yet. So thank God. Um, but other than that, I think it's about 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. Um, but that's the thing. So like even now, I'm unemployed, right? I'm not working, so I've been waiting to get myself a job. But again, it's so difficult because exams. Like you don't know when you're gonna be done with it, and I can't usually balance working and studying. Uh, but I really want to start working, but now I can't because like I'm in this. I don't know. Like I don't even know when exams are gonna be. So I can't get myself a job right now. So that's really, really frustrating because I've been unemployed for like um, 7 to 8 months now. So only because I thought I was going to sit for exams in December and then I didn't. And then I was planning on sitting in May. That didn't happen. So the unemployment
It's
status
just
continues.
cascading. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just goes on and on and on.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
I think just if systems in general in our country were designed inherently to be efficient, so you know how
Yeah.
while we aren't like for instance a school student doesn't study 3 years more than an average school student, but even if it's an additional 1 year there, and then
Yeah.
across every boundary, if it's delayed even by let's say 3 months in every instance,
Yeah. Yeah.
accumulated, it does have a very, maybe it's not time consuming, it's just taxing to the mind.
Yeah.
That certainly is the case. And so since you've spoken to many of your like friends who are in a very similar boat, what are their
Yes.
plans, seeing as the way the country is going on migration? Because I know as a lawyer it's hard to migrate because
Yes.
it's not like an engineer or a doctor where qualifications are considered equally across all
Yep.
countries. It's very,
Correct.
yeah, it's very centric to where you're from and where you're originating.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
what have the plans and thoughts been being
Um,
the recent?
That's the thing. They still want to migrate irrespective. Because see, even if you do migrate, you have to end up doing their law college exams, right? That's like you study again, and I generally don't think I can do that. But I mean, given the current situation in the country, I don't blame my friends for migrating and starting over. So, I mean, most of my friends want to migrate. Most of them can't afford to. Um, so they're stuck here forever. But all I know is that all of them are like just fed up, like myself. Like we're so tired and so fed up, especially final year students, because like it's our final year and we just want to be done. And the fact that that's not happening, and the fact that we can't get ourselves a job, it's really really frustrating. But yeah, some of them they want to migrate, the rest want to stay. So yeah.
I have a final question for you regarding the law
Yes.
college system, just that,
Yeah.
and then I have one more later on.
Sure.
Regarding the law college, let's say I am quite aware that the way in which students are tested is significantly different to how it is for other countries and their degrees. And
Right.
as
Okay.
someone who's done the London degree, you know that it's quite starkly different. So
Yes.
do you think that the examination criteria where it's heavily reliant on remembering facts rather than a
Yes.
lot of personal interpretation and personal thoughts and personal research? Like
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's a dissertation for law college, but do you think the law college systems would give out more refined and more intellectually brilliant lawyers if they tested a person's analytical skills and whatnot rather than the ability to just remember lots
Uh,
and lots of laws? Because when I was working at a firm, right,
Okay.
I saw there that most lawyers don't instantly, they see a law, they go to, like, it's a case matter. Okay, they
Yeah.
don't remember the law instantaneously. They got to refer to it, but that's totally
Yeah.
okay. But it's their analytical skills that's really pushing them hard, and making them do well. So do you think we could benefit from changing the way we're tested in the law college exams?
For sure. Like, so since I did my degree, I can compare it. So for the LLB, we had more problem questions, right? It was more practical rather than just getting us to vomit what we know. But sadly, with law college, see, a lot of people think law college is hard, right? And it is because it's really bulky. There's so much to study. But the questions are so direct. You just vomit the law. So if you memorize everything, like if you memorize your notes, there's no way you can fail this exam. And that's what's sad about law college because up to date lawyers still check the law, they check the statute, they check common law, whatever. But I don't know why they expect us to memorize sections and sections because it is insane. Because I don't think there's any lawyer who knows every single section, right? So that's what's sad about law college. Like the way they test our knowledge has to change. But that being said, I won't say that it's not hard. It is definitely hard, but like I said, it's hard because it's really bulky. There is a lot to study, and the sad part is you fail one subject, you repeat all eight, especially if you don't have an average of 50, right? So, say for an example, for my final year, I have eight subjects. I fail one subject, but my average is above 50, then I will only get to repeat that particular subject that I failed. But I failed one subject and my average is below 50. Irrespective if your average is below 50, you have to like do the entire exam. So that's where law college becomes tough. And it's not just final year; it's all 3 years. But other than that, I don't think law college is tough. It's tough because of their how they mark and also the fact that wait, I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Wait, what
Yeah.
was I thinking?
That's totally all right.
I said because because it's really bulky. Um, wait, do we have to do that again, or are you gonna
No,
cut and
no,
like
please
chop?
go ahead.
Okay.
No, we're going ahead.
Um.
We'll have, like, I think the blooper. I think everyone is listening to it right now is just gonna enjoy the blooper reels, because that's
Okay.
that's a good that's a fun part of the podcast.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I lost my train of thought. So it's tough
That's
because
all right.
it's super bulky and how they mark, like the fact that you fail one paper, you repeat all eight, or you have an average, like you passed all your papers but your average is still below 50, you repeat the entire exam, and that's really really frustrating and super demotivating because it's insane that we have to study all eight subjects again. So because the first year you have eight,
That's like
seven,
the A levels
yeah,
also, right? Like, I think even the A levels or something like that. Because
yeah,
for our A levels, like I think even yours and mine, we mess
yeah.
up a unit. Like, for instance, I mess up statistics one in math. I don't have to do the
Okay,
entire A levels. I don't have to do entire math. I just have to redo S1. So
yeah,
it just makes life so much easier. Yeah, I
yes,
know.
yeah.
So what do you think the resistance to change has been? Because obviously this problem must have been highlighted by so many people. What do you think the
Yeah.
resistance to change is?
I have to say though that the current law college principal is trying to change paper structures, so they're trying to make it harder. So for us, like for our batch,
By
apparently
hard or
that
more intellectually stimulating?
so when I said harder, what he's trying to do is for our batch specifically, he's trying to have more problem questions, more practical questions than essay questions, where we had to. So when it's an essay question, you just vomit out what you know, right? But when it's a problem question or a practical question, you had to use your brain. So basically he wants the lecturers who make papers to make sure that they give us more problem questions. So that's just for our batch.
So like
Yeah.
more like paper two of the ACE level law syllabus that you did, something like that.
Yes, yes, exactly like that.
Yeah, I love paper
But
two.
I know, but apparently from the next batch onwards. So fun fact, I don't know if it's a fun fact, but we get to select six questions. We get about nine, and we get to select six, right? And your first question is compulsory. So we have a selection, like we get to pick. But apparently, from the next batch onwards, they are not going to give a selection. They are just going to give six questions, and all those six questions are compulsory. So when you're studying, you can't leave a lesson out. You have to make sure that you study
Oh,
everything. So I'm just so
oh,
glad that I won't be
that's
falling for
insane.
that, fall into that batch. But I mean, if I do fail, I have to. and then I had to do that on paper. But apparently, that's the plan. So the law college principal is trying to make exams actually hard because, truth be told, though, a lot of kids do end up taking oaths every year. Like there's at least 1,000 people taking oaths. I don't know where these lawyers end up. I think most female lawyers end up either at a firm or a bank or a company, and then male lawyers end up counseling, right? So I understand why he has to make it hard, but I don't know. I feel like maybe the entire paper, like the whole system needs a change. I don't think giving children 6 questions and making it compulsory is the way to go. But yeah, here we
I think, I
are.
think, I think, I think, like, yeah, I think it's like maybe if you employed a think smarter, not harder sort of system, that would be better.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
that. I don't know that.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to have done the local syllabus if they had, like, dissertations and stuff, because
Yeah.
it just sounds so fun.
Yeah, I have no idea what an assignment is like. I've never done an assignment in my entire life because even for our degree, it was just exams, right? We never had this thing. Like, I don't know, like my friends speak about assignments, and I'm like, oh my god, sounds so fun. Because I really don't know what an assignment is like. But yeah, all we just write
I
exams
have
like
a
every year.
I have a bunch of friends in Sri Jayavardhanapura and all who don't do the law syllabus, but then, like, they do the national syllabus, but they always have assignments. I think it's maybe like for some reason law is like one of the subjects left out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a Sri Lankan problem. I think it's a Sri Lankan law problem.
But I think at Epic they do give assignments. That's what I've heard
Oh,
for law. I don't know.
oh, okay.
I
So
could be wrong.
each law school takes its like different perspective.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
think so.
maybe RI does assignments.
No, no, no. What I meant,
I'm not
so
sure.
basically at Epit, the university is Staffordshire, I think. So it's different, right? But
Right.
RI and CFPS is University of London. So why Epit is different is because the university is different.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That
uh,
makes sense.
yeah,
So much
yeah,
more sense.
yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. So I've come to a conclusion of grilling you on those regards. What I have to ask you now is, like, an important question relating to the beginning of the video. It's
Okay.
regarding the TikToks and reels and whatnot.
Sure.
What have the benefits to you and your perhaps mental health have been on, using those forums to rant, and,
Ah,
to, like,
yeah.
express your emotions? Because I think it's a good effect on you, as far as it seems from my perspective, at least.
For sure. So, fun fact about me, I make TikToks when I feel very anxious, and it has helped me so far. Because, to be honest, the news is a bit hard to take in every day, like what's happening in this country. It's a bit hard to keep reading news all the time. So, TikTok, yeah, helps me a lot. Because I don't really dance on TikToks, I just make funny stuff, provided that it's actually funny. But yeah, I mean,
Okay,
it has
sorry,
really,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
Can you bring in your pets into this too? I forgot about that.
Yes. Also, fun fact: I have 2 dogs and 3 cats. And oh my gosh, they've helped me so much during this time, and not just me, like everyone at home. Uh, I have like 3 cats, and one of them, they just like, she always studies with me. When I'm studying at my table, she's on the table. When I'm sleeping, she's on the bed. She's like always with me, and she has helped me so much. Sometimes, like, I'm studying and I get super distracted by her. It's worse than having a boyfriend, I swear. So they have really helped as well. Like, even my dogs. Um, I think everyone deserves a pet, honestly. Um, but yeah, I think TikTok and my pets have really helped me during this time. Like, we keep talking about this at home as well. How, like, the animals at our place really, you know, helps us to stay sane. So I think everyone should get a pet. It can be anything actually. Like, it can be a dog, a cat, a rabbit, a duck. I don't know. I love ducks too. So yeah. But it's like a mini zoo here, so it's pretty interesting. But yeah.
You got like maybe like 100 different like bows.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have a tortoise as well. So yeah, I actually had 13 cats at one point. So that's how, um, you know, I've been living my life. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank God you live alone. I mean, you live with your family and not alone, or
yeah,
you would have sounded like, the creepy cat lady in every movie.
yeah, yeah. I've gotten that before. I've heard of that before. But yeah,
All right. That is a very interesting story. Thank you for being here on season three, episode uno.
Thank you for
Just
having
busting
me.
out my. You're welcome. I was gonna say busting my very little knowledge of Spanish, which I hope to change. Uh, yeah. I hope to change that. But again, thank you so much for being here. It was really entertaining talking to you and having so many friends in the legal field. It was important for me to get this message across because a lot of people see these messages on on WhatsApp and
Yeah,
whatnot of there being a
yeah.
crisis. But in a country where there's like 100 different things going wrong at one point, no one has the time to sit down and see what's wrong. And
Yes.
one thing, thank you for being there to let everyone know what's up and why this is crucial. Thank you so much.
I'm glad. I'm glad. Thank you for having me, and I'm glad that I could shed some light about what's happening in
No
this
worries,
field.
no worries.
I
Thank
hope
you
it
for being an
helped.
amazing guest. Yes,
You're
thank you for being an
welcome.
awesome guest. All right, all
All
right.
right.
Okay,
Okay.
guys. So, everyone, so this is like first episode of the season, and I hope we're getting more onto it. One of the people who I expect to have is my oldest friend, who I've known since I was a wee baby, and who I hope to have on sometime soon. He's doing his exams right now, and I hope that happens soon enough. But until next time, bye bye, and I'll see you guys some other time. I should come up with a much better outro now that I'm saying it out loud. All right, see you guys. Bye bye.